champion from Reynolds out of District 10. Should be a real exciting matchup between these two. I think a little bit of a surprise that both of these guys are there, but they feel they deserve it.
Oh, definitely. And their coaches have got to be so pleased. They're both ninth graders, and they have got bright futures ahead. Win or lose in this match at 103 pounds, they have super futures to come.
The referee in this first bout here at 103 is Jim Malott, an official out of District 11. And we're underway between Matt Dunn of Reynolds in the blue, white, and silver singlet, and Josh Schneider from Hindman in the orange, black, and white.
Dunn in quickly with a takedown. He's wearing the green anklet today. And as you can see right there, as they go out of bounds, he rides with a tough half Nelson. One of the things that he does so well with that is he keeps pressure on his opponent, so his opponents really cannot get away from him. Talked about the terrific tradition out at Reynolds High School. You mentioned just how many state champions they have. Coach Hills from Reynolds has put 14 people in the finals here at the PIAA. He's come away with 12 champions, and both of those 2 losses were in overtime.
Dunn's got 2 back points held by Jim Malott. How important it is in the finals to get a quick start. Takes the pressure off. We talked about 2 freshmen. How are you going to react the first time here in the finals? And obviously for Dunn, not rusty, gets the quick takedown and immediately goes to what's been working for him all year.
No, wrestling is such a mental sport, and to walk out in the state championships, get 2-point takedown and then a 2-point near fall, that's got to give you an edge just mentally right there. And the other thing that it does is it says to your opponent, hey, I came here to beat you, and I mean business. Doug, you mentioned that Josh Schneider has a chance to be a first state champion from Hindman High School. The only other place winner that Hindman has ever had, other than Schneider, was Aaron Elliott. He was 8th at 125 pounds back in 1999.
We talked about it a little bit ago, about the size of the school from District 5, about 28 students in the senior class. I mean, that's about as small as AA as you're going to get. Yeah. And it's got to be special for Schneider and also for the whole school to have him in the finals here. It was an emotional win for him in the semis last night. He used a cradle to pin Gary Mayfield, and now you can see why. I mean, it's got to be special for them, for the school and the community to have him here today with a chance to win a state championship.
What makes it a little bit sweeter is the fact that Mayfield was picked by most people to take the team, or take the individual championship at 103 pounds, and of course Josh Schneider didn't like that idea.
Mayfield did wrestle back for 3rd, and that's his 3rd state medal now. Talking about Gary Mayfield from Hanover. Nothing is a guarantee anymore.
The next guy is
He had a big spring, which is also a District 3 school.
Josh Schneider from Hindman is coached by Ron Scritchfield. They're out of District 5. 39 seconds to go in the second period, and Schneider, or Dunn, excuse me, from Reynolds is clinging to that 4-1 lead that he got in the first period. 2-point takedown and a 2-point near fall. Now things have settled down a little bit.
Well, they have. They've got the cobwebs out, and they're here to score some points. two-point takedown for Matt Dunn. Matt Dunn's only loss this year was by fall in 3 minutes and 11 seconds at the Mannheim tournament back in late December. And he lost to a finalist from Easton, Seth Sassouli, out of District 11. He's one of our AAA finalists at 112, or excuse me, 103.
Not too shabby. Not too many people have beaten Seth Sassouli. Only one has done it all season. We're going to see him later on tonight. Dunn was a Northwest Regional champ, also won a District 10 championship. Snyder was a Southwest Regional runner-up. He lost to Adam Whetstone for that championship. Whetstone placing 8th in this tournament out of Claysburg Kimmel.
Well, Snyder from the top position in the third period, trailing by 5 points, does not want to be in this position. It is so difficult to score points on a wrestler from the top position, and he needs to get a pile of them to get ahead in this final. Stalling call on Snyder.
Obviously, the coaching staff and Snyder himself have the confidence that he has the ability to turn Dunn, being that he did turn and pin Mayfield. But you just wonder how long it will go before they have to cut him and try to get takedowns. But with only a minute, it's going to be awfully tough to work your way back.
Well, Snyder's tough at coming back, too. He's comfortable being behind, but he's going to give up a reversal here and definitely some back points.
Dunn now comfortably in front with an 8-1 lead with 30 seconds to go.
There's the 3 near fall points and a 2-point reversal. Doug, you mentioned about the tradition out at Reynolds High School with 18 state titles dating back to 1966 is when the school got their first state champion.
And Justin Nestor was the last one. He did it in 2001, and they're going to have another one here in Matt Dunn. Dunn's going to hold on and win 12-3. To start things off here at 103. The freshman now moves to 40-1. And he's a state champion from Reynolds in District 10.
And there you saw just how mental wrestling is. He walked out, he got a 2-point takedown, got 2 near fall points, and never looked back.
Moved to 112 pounds. That is Kyle Kemmerer, the senior from Brandywine Heights. He is 38-4 with a career record of 120-35 out of District 3. And he will take on, in a District 3 rematch, Mike Anderson from Littlestown, 35-1. Anderson is a junior. Now, when you look at Kyle Kemmerer, has 4 losses. I talk about a rematch. Anderson and he met last week. Anderson winning in the Southeast Regional Finals 1-0. So this should be another tight one for a state championship.
Anderson also won in the District 3 Finals 3-1 2 Saturdays ago as well.
Brandywine Heights and Kyle Kemmerer in the maroon singlet. Anderson from Littlestown in the blue and gold. Neither one of these schools has ever had a state champion, so both looking to be the school's first. Anderson was a state qualifier last year, finishing the year at 31-9.
Qualified last year as a Southeastern Regional fourth-place finisher at 103 pounds. He lost in his quarterfinal match to Mayfield from Hanover, 13-9, and did not place in the tournament last year.
Anderson, 82 career wins, 18 losses. Kemmerer over the 100 mark at 120. Throughout today, we're going to see a handful of wrestlers with career numbers in the mid-140s. Jeff Eckloff from Northampton, we'll see later at AAA, actually is in the 150s, and those numbers seem to continue to increase. The amount of bouts that they're allowed in Pennsylvania now, and the amount of tournaments these wrestlers get in under their bout requirements, goes to show. I mean, we've got a lot of talent here in the state. Not that anybody needed to be told that, but it's absolutely correct. And we're seeing a lot of that today.
A lot of these wrestlers go out of state for big holiday tournaments like the Delaware Nationals, now called the Beast of the East tournament down at the University of Delaware. There's about 75 or so schools that participate in that. I know that Easton, for instance, the AAA school, goes out to the Reno Tournament of Champions. There's 100 schools that participate in that.
Work out of it.
Some people a lot of times will question why schools will travel, and I think you talk about Easton in District 11. There's a fine tournament, the Hurricane Classic at Liberty High School. They like to get outside. They're going to see the teams like Northampton and Nazareth and Liberty throughout the season. They like to travel a little bit and head out west. We've seen fine tournaments in Pennsylvania, Mannheim, and the PIAA tournament, where you see some good competition as well.
Kemmerer getting a nice two-point takedown.
Jim, we talked about at 103 the importance of starting off strong, and there's a prime example with Kemmerer how critical it is to get those points right at the end of the period. Kemmerer scores a key takedown at the end of that first period to take that 2-0 lead, and now he really can control this bout.
He's definitely in control, and the other thing that's in the back of his mind is, remember, he lost last weekend 1-0, and he lost 2 weekends ago 3-1. He's already scored more points in this match than he did in either one of those.
Stop.
We talked about Matt Fisk from Wyalusing that placed third here. Kyle Kemmerer is the wrestler that defeated Matt Fisk, and he did it in the quarterfinals in overtime on the 4-4 tiebreaker. And since then, I mean, Kemmerer's been on a mission. And he won in the semifinals 5-1, and he's had a fine tournament. I think after defeating Matt Fisk, you feel that, gee, I deserve to be a state champ.
Well, he had a tough match against Matt Fisk, and of course, everybody thought that Matt Fisk would make it into the finals again. There was a start caution with 9 seconds left in the third period of that quarterfinal match to tie it 4-4, and Kemmerer rode him out in that 30-second overtime. Sam Lavello, the head coach at Brandywine Heights, member of the PIAA Hall of Fame, inducted back in 1999. Littletown High School had another place finisher back in 1976 and 1977. Warren Robertson, the only two-time place winner and the only previous finalist for Littletown High School. That was at 167 pounds, and he placed second and third.
Anderson doing a nice job to ride Kemmerer in this period, but he hasn't been able to turn him for any points. Still trails 2-0 with 44 seconds to go.
You hear the referee talking to the wrestlers. I really like that. I think it's important for the referee to let the wrestlers know exactly what's on his mind. I like it when he tells the wrestlers to keep working. I like it when he's telling you, you don't bend that arm. I'm gonna call it a potentially dangerous situation. I really think that that's important. Some of the referees don't do that.
I agree. I mean, instead of hitting a guy and him having no idea what the warning was or why you stopped the action, that's absolutely right.
Anderson has to be careful about a figure 4, which is illegal, and a penalty point would be awarded if he got caught putting a figure 4 on camera.
Well, the Brandywine coaching staff and Sam Lavelle, the head coach, was the one trying to alert the officials to that. Now the pace changes with Kemmerer really needing to just ride Anderson if possible without trying to turn him, but he's gone.
Situation. And I got to tell you, Doug, not only is Anderson giving up some back points, but he's in a lot of pain. That move really, really hurts. Kemmerer's trying to twist the torso of Anderson. It was one of the moves we used to play around with when we were kids, my brother and I, just to inflict pain on each other.
It's not a turning move you see that often anymore because it is difficult to land, but when you do it, it's effective. It's a perfect example of the kind of tournament that Kemmerer has had in this finals. He has lost the last 2 weekends to Anderson. He has looked to be the better wrestler here in the finals. Taking it to Mike Anderson, and he's 48 seconds away from winning a state championship.
Back in 2001, Brandywine Heights had 2 finalists, Matt Guerreri at 119 and Anthony Kapoor at 160. Of course, both lost, but they still won the team race without a champion.
Don't take that up. Don't take it up.
Anderson gets the takedown to cut it to a 2-point decision
Come on,
for
Red.
Kemmerer.
Come on, Red. Out of bounds.
If we can hear head coach Sam Lavelle yelling to his wrestler, "You've got 15 seconds for the title. You've got to come up."
Kemmerer's gonna hold on.
Take your ankles off.
He's going to win it 5-3, and Kyle Kemmerer, the senior, is the first ever state champion from Brandywine Heights.
Go ahead, go.
And they've got to be excited.
Well, they've got 2 more chances to add to that wall.
Mike Anderson, of course, a junior. He'll be back next year.
Turn it over now to the medal presentation at 103 pounds and Dwayne Beach.
Eighth place from Claysburg Kimmel, Adam Whetstone. 7th place from Fort LaBeouf, Jason Alexander. 6th from Mount Pleasant, Zach Holt. 5th place from Wilson area, Russ Souders. 4th from Biglerville, Chad Leggett. 3rd place from Hanover, Gary Mayfield. 2nd place from Hindman, Josh Schneider. And our 103-pound class AA champion from Reynolds, winner by a score of 12-3, Matt Dunn.
We move now to 119 pounds. 2nd wrestler in a row from Brandywine Heights, senior Matt Guerreri from District 3. 37-3 on the season, 145-30 career record for Matt Guerreri. So Sam Lavello, the head coach, will take his seat in a familiar spot in that corner. He will take on, out of District 6 in Juniata Valley, a freshman, Garrett Scott. He is coached by Brad Boyd. 32-2 on the season is freshman Garrett Scott.
Position?
Garrett Scott is in the green uniform with the green anklet. And, of course, Matt Guerreri from Brandywine Heights is in the maroon uniform with the red anklet.
Scott is a freshman, but awfully active during the summer. He was a cadet freestyle champion and also a cadet Greco-Roman fourth-place finisher this season. Garrett Scott, who is just a freshman. He's from Juniata Valley, who also has never had a state champion. So we have 3 straight weight classes where a school looking for their first ever state champ. Now Brandywine Heights and Matt Guerreri hits the takedown. They have one of their own.
Guerreri's trying to get a leg in so he doesn't get himself in trouble. From the top position, he likes to work a power half, as you can see.
Guerreri has already placed twice at states, 2nd and 3rd the last couple seasons.
Go with it.
In last year's state championships, he was a Southeastern third-place finisher at 119. Lost in the quarterfinals to Santo from Penn Argyl, one of our finalists in a weight coming up, 11-8, and then beat Santo for 3rd place in the consolations.
Better, guys. Put it on, son.
The gym fans will talk about the competition that teams get outside the area or competition they get in their regular season schedule, but how often you see, and here's an example with Brandywine Heights, when you have 2 or 3 wrestlers very close in weight class in the finals, those guys, the workout partners that they have in the wrestling room, guys are able to bang heads each and every day of practice for 4 seasons, maybe longer. That's what makes these guys make their trip to Hershey, and they like to do it together. It gives them motivation.
And they feed off of each other, both here in a tournament and also in the practice room. When one guy gets better, he just makes the guy that he wrestles every day better, and it just kind of feeds on itself. And it's very commonplace, like you mentioned, to see that, where you have a couple of kids in successive weights from the same school really excelling.
Well, Scott has tied this one on the reversal 2-2 with 16 seconds to go. Crucial for Scott to get those 2 points before the end of that period. Now his job is to hold Guerreri down and not give up the escape.
Scott's brother Brock was 3rd at 103 pounds last year. He placed this year. Excuse me, his cousin Brock placed 3rd at 103 pounds last year.
Red, first, green. Green's on top.
You see Guerreri there deferring. If you're anticipating a close bout, and there's been some changes over the last couple of years in the overtime, but Guerreri scored the first points in this bout. A lot of times if wrestlers go into the second period tied, they will immediately take the down position to try to score. Guerreri scoring those first points is crucial because if we go to the ride-out, he will get the choice in that ride-out period. Although over the last couple seasons, it's been, and especially in this tournament, it's been a lot more difficult for a wrestler to choose top or bottom because the wrestlers in this state have become much better top wrestlers than they have over the past, say, 10 seasons.
Yeah, everybody anticipates, and they try to better themselves from the top position. He's going to pick up 2 near-fall points. And that little tilt right there that Scott does, we see so many wrestlers do that now. In fact, 20 years ago, nobody did that. And I remember Shikellamy was probably, Shikellamy District 4 school, which is a AAA school, was the first school that I remember ever seeing using that move. And now everybody does it.
Jim, you talk about that near fall, and one of the wrestlers out of District 11 that has really made it famous in that part of the state is Mike Rogers. He won a state championship for Easton last year, and during the summer and during the winter workouts, it seemed like everybody in District 11 was doing it and were mimicking it, and obviously not as well as he does. He likes to let the wrestlers stand, and then he hits it. But he has worked it so much that even if you knew it was coming, you couldn't get away with it, and it just seemed like that's a move. It seems like every year there's a certain move, whether it be the cement job that we saw in the 90s, which we still see, but now it seems to be the tilt, and it's different variations of it that guys are using it to get those near fall points.
Well, one of the best kids that I've ever seen that uses it, we're going to see at 135 pounds, and that's Isaiah Britton from Loyalsock, and he has been just unstoppable with the move. The only other placer for the Juniata Valley High School was back in 1987. Brad Boyd placed third at 126 pounds.
Impressive period for Garrett Scott. Uses that tilt to take the lead, and we enter the third period. He leads 4-2. Don't forget to stick around tonight live at 8 o'clock. We have the AAA Wrestling Championships here from the Giant Center in Hershey Arena, and we're anxiously anticipating that one. 140 cable systems representing 3 million homes and 9 million state residents. That's today's television audience for the Pennsylvania Class AA Finals. And we'd like to wish a big hello to all the family, friends, and fans that are out there in the Commonwealth associated with this high school championship. So we're glad to be here. Doug Heater along with Jim Davis.
Douglas is the first takedown in the match. Very in, just a simple counter move. Scott got a little bit too low and a little bit bad position. Guerreri got enough speed and momentum to get around behind him.
We had injury time for Matt Guerreri from Brandywine Heights. He gets a minute-and-a-half injury time, and if he takes injury time for the second time in the bout, it gives his opponent the choice to restart the action. So Guerreri there took almost all of his minute-and-a-half injury time in that bout to kind of get things settled here as we start this third period.
Back in 2001, Guerreri came in as a Southeastern Regional 5th place finisher at 119 pounds. He lost in the finals that year to Adam Smith from District 3 Newport High School, 7-4. Of course, Adam Smith is a starter for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Also in the top half of his bracket benefited from the fact that Jake Strayer, the returning state champion from Forest Hills, got pinned, as we mentioned earlier.
And that was motivation to everybody in this weight class to stay away from the consolations. He didn't need motivation enough to want to get to the finals. That was it.
It is such a heartbreak for these wrestlers to lose in the semifinals because they know down in the consolations, first of all, you're in wrestling now for third place. Second of all, you've got to wrestle right away against a kid that has not wrestled yet that day. So you're wrestling a kid that's fresh when you may not be quite as fresh. And Guerreri's got himself in an awful lot of trouble. Scott's got 2-point takedown. He's got 3 near fall points already wrapped up. Scott doing a nice job of picking up Guerreri's head so he can't bridge off. So very little between his shoulder blades and the mat, and that's going to be just about it.
There he gets the fall with 4 seconds to go. Garrett Scott from Juniata Valley. Just a freshman.
Great job, fellas. Stay with me. All right, you ready?
Well, Scott had it locked up. Let's see how he won it here at 119.
Well, you can see it. He's got his head picked up so that he can't bridge. And the only thing there is his shoulder blades, and referee slaps the mat. The match is over.
Medal presentations now at 112 pounds.
And for the 112-pound medal winners, in 8th place from North Star, Tony Lascari. 7th place from Coudersport, Brock Frederick. 6th from Juniata Valley, Brock Scott. 5th place from Wilson area, Rob Struning. 4th place from Forest Hills, Shane Avalco. 3rd place from Wyalusing, Matt Fisk. 2nd from Littlestown, Mike Anderson. And our 112-pound Class AA champion, winner by decision, score 5-3 from Brandywine Heights, Kyle Kemmerer.
125-pound weight class is next, and there's Zach Sheldon from Wyalusing. He is a senior out of District 4, 37-2. He is coached by Walt Fisk. And he is taking on a returning state champion. We have two of them. It is Joe McCara, the senior from Burl out of District 7, 37-4 in the season, 139-19. A lot of victories between the two. McCara 139, Sheldon with 147. Our final here at 125 pounds.
One interesting thing to note about McCara, he wrestled most of the year up at 119 pounds, made the last-minute decision to move up a weight class up to 125. That's not very common.
One of the new rule changes that we saw in Pennsylvania, too, was the weight certification and obviously the amount of bouts the wrestler had to weigh in at. Now, of course, it's easier to move up because you could weigh in at 190, but you have to get half of your weights weighed in at your planned postseason weight. And what it did do is it took some of the juggling away from the coaches and their dual meets in the beginning of the season, but it did make it a little bit easier for the fans and the wrestlers to make a decision earlier than probably the middle of February where they planned on going. And I think it did its job as far as eliminating wrestlers from trying to make that drastic postseason drop. But you're right. Usually you see guys make the ride down. But McCara, you know, he's a returning state champ. He's got the confidence that he can go anywhere.
He wrestles with an awful lot of confidence, that's for sure.
Let's go, center.
He's got the total package. He's got a lot of tools that he can use, but he struggled in his preliminary bout.
We got time. We got blood time. Red.
He's got a takedown with a blood injury time, and of course the wrestlers have 5 minutes when there's blood.
Yes. The two red.
There's that opening takedown by McCara before the blood time.
You can see Sheldon getting in. He gets out of position. That's primarily helped along by McCara, just pulling him forward, spinning around behind him, hooking his leg, picking up a 2-point takedown.
It's state history in the making. The 2003 PIAA Class AA Championships, televised across the Commonwealth on the state leader for scholastic sports programming, PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Take a look at that cut over the eye. A reminder to the viewers, too, on March 13th, live, the PIAA Diving Championships here on PCN. He had 5 minutes blood time to do the damage repair, and in the cleanup time, the time is stopped, and it's not like the injury time, minute and a half. You get 5 minutes of blood time no matter how much it takes. And sometimes it takes wrestlers a little bit out of the game. We'll see how it affects McCara here, happening so early in this bout.
I mentioned that Joe McCara struggled a bit in his preliminary bout. Won the match 3-1 in overtime over Jared Cassioli from Notre Dame Green Pond out of District 11. made it into the 32nd overtime ride-out period, and he secured a reversal with literally no time on the clock to win 3-1.
And McCara has placed 3 other times at states, 2nd, 4th, 1st, and now in the finals here, so he will be a 4-time state medalist. 2 state champions from Burrell out of District 7. The last one was in 1997. Excuse me, McCara last year before that was in 1997.
Pop, get going for a fall, bottom, work to get out.
Head coach Walt Fisk from Wyalusing was a state finalist himself from Sayre High School out of District 4 back in 1976. Came to the tournament as a Northeastern 4th place finisher and lost the finals to Denny Jacobs from Northern High School out of District 3 at 145 pounds, 8-4.
Sheldon is looking to become the 7th state champion from Wyalusing. Justin Millard was the last one in 2000.
And in that 2000 championship, Wyalusing put 3 people into the finals. Millard, as you mentioned, at 189, Bud Putman at 171, and Justin Johnson at 152.
And Sheldon knocked off state runner-up from last year, Tony Curto of Wilson, on District 11 in the semifinals last night, which was one of the, was a solid bout by Sheldon, winning an 11-2 and putting himself in the finals. A lot of people took them by surprise. But when you look at the numbers of Sheldon and his coaching staff, and of course Matt Fisk, another fine workout partner right there, there's no surprise that he's here tonight, or here this afternoon.
Sheldon only has 2 losses. He lost in the semifinals of the Top Hat tournament at 130 pounds, 10-3 to Brad Cipriani from Franklin Regional out of District 7. And then he lost again in consolations by injury default. Those are his only 2 losses all year long.
Pop, right away. Head up. Break easy.
You see the referee blowing a potentially dangerous situation. When the bottom wrestler is on his feet and the top wrestler is lifted up into the air and totally off of the mat, immediately the referees call potentially dangerous situation.
Well, in Sheldon's case, too, you're seeing that smart by him, because as soon as McCara is able to stand, he tries to get the leg in so the action can stop. He doesn't want to give up the escape here. He's trailing 2-0 in the 2nd period.
Well, these wrestlers definitely use the rules to their advantage anytime they can.
One of the things you're finding wrestlers do a lot more often when you talk to them, watching tape, not just of themselves, but of other wrestlers that they get their hands on. So, you know, people like to use the term students of the sport. These guys definitely are. And really, to be at this level, you have to be.
They have to know what their opponent's going to do. They have to watch tapes of matches that their opponents have wrestled. They've got to be prepared. There's so many different things that a wrestler can do, so many different moves. A guy might have a favorite move from the top position that's just deadly. And you have to know that that sort of thing is coming so that you can defend against it. And Sheldon's getting himself into bad position. McCara's trying to come out the back door. And the referee calls a stalemate.
103, here we go, set.
Joe McCara won the state championship last year. In the finals, he beat Tony Curto from Wilson High School, District 11, 7-6.
Set. A little slower, man. Top. Nobody's going to. Get out. Keep position. Up. Right back. Hustle back in. Let's go.
One of the things that really hurt Sheldon last year at the state tournament was his conditioning. He lost a couple of matches simply because he ran out of gas. And we really haven't seen that from him this year. He's much improved from the standpoint of being ready to wrestle. They're going to stop the match for that.
McCara came down hard. The training staff's going to come out and look at it. No penalty point was awarded on that. Let's take a look at that again.
Red.
You can see Sheldon, and he's just going to lift him up. Now he has his arm blocked, so McCara cannot put his arm out to brace himself. And of course, his shoulder and his head simultaneously hit the mat, and that's got to hurt.
See, the training staff is attending to McCara. Now he's got a minute of injury time. This is his first time out. March actually is National Athletic Trainers Month, and it's endorsed by the National Athletic Trainers Association and the Pennsylvania Athletic Trainers Society. And I tell you what, the training staff that's been here all weekend has been phenomenal. Not only taking care of what needs to be, but being out there as quickly as they possibly can. And they've had a lot of work to do.
And realize that for the first time, Doug, they've run 6 mats at once. Prior to the Giant Center, they ran 4 mats at once, and that was bad enough. Now they have 6 mats going at the same time.
McCara with that escape takes a 3-0 lead. Got a little breather on that injury time. Sheldon's going to need a takedown to try to cut this lead.
Wyalusing has got a rich tradition of wrestling. One of the better known wrestlers to ever come from Wyalusing High School was Floyd Shorty Hitchcock. Shorty Hitchcock lost his battle with cancer last year. He was a 1974 NCAA champion at 177 pounds. He was the outstanding wrestler at the tournament that year. He was inducted into the PIAA Hall of Fame back in 1985. Shorty Hitchcock, also longtime head coach at Millersville University.
Come on, action now.
McCara being awfully smart because he's taking the action toward the edge. He knows he doesn't want to give up a takedown. That's what Sheldon needs to get back in this bout. Sheldon needs more than that. Probably needs to take McCara down and put him in his back to win this. There's another example what you talked about earlier with the officials. Let the wrestlers know. You know, not only letting them know the time or the situation, but just letting them know where they stand.
Yeah.
And almost in a sense, not coaching them, but in a sense coaching them at this point.
Well, the referees certainly want to see the kids wrestle, and they're going to let them know. Hopefully, if they think that, you know, hey, son, you need to pick up the pace here a little bit, that sort of thing. And I think that that's great. I think that's what these high school kids need. And curiously, Sheldon really hasn't done much. He's down 3 points, and you'd think he'd be a little bit more aggressive than he is right now.
Well, there's a stalling warning on McCara, and he gets a takedown.
Now they're going to wave it off. McCara was behind him. Sheldon smart enough to sort of hop out of bounds quickly.
Got a stall warning.
Let's talk about how
You saw the main referee talk to the assistant referee. The assistant referee's job is not to overrule the head referee. He's essentially there just to help him in any way. He might see something that the other official can't see. He might be on the wrong side of the wrestler, something like that. And in that case, the assistant referee had a better view of the out of bounds.
You're under 10, stay in.
And when the head referee talked to him, he said, hey, you know, they were out of bounds. Takedown shouldn't count. And they waved it off.
McCara will hold on and win his second straight state championship.
Good match, man.
Holds on and wins it 3-0 over Zach Sheldon of Wyalusing.
I got to raise your hand 4 times. Good job, son. All 4 times. We got one right here. Relax. You're not going anywhere yet. We got one here. One here. And stay right here. That guy wants your picture there. All right.
Go to the medal presentations now at 119 pounds. Joe McCara, 2-time state champion.
To the award stand. where we are awarding the 119-pound medals. In 8th place from Loyalsock, Brian Tedesco. 7th from Jeanette, Larry Hall. 6th place from Hanover, Ryan Bream. 5th place from Bloomsburg, Jeff Shell. 4th place from Wilson area, Joe Kushnerick. 3rd place from Forest Hills, Jake Strayer. 2nd place from Brandywine Heights, Matt Guerreri. And our 119-pound champion, winner by fall, time of the fall 5 minutes and 56 seconds, winning the first state championship in school history from Juniata Valley, Garrett Scott.
We move to 130 pounds now. Jeff Santo, the senior from Penn Argyl out of District 11. He is 33-0 with a career record of 130-28. He is coached by Vic Stanley. He is a 2-time state medalist. He is taking on from Delone Catholic a senior, Dana Gingrich, out of District 3, 39-3, coached by John Hefner with a career mark of 130-18. So we have Santo, a 2-time state medalist, back in the finals, and Gingrich, who was a state runner-up last year. Should be a good one here at 130 pounds.
It should definitely be a good one. Gingrich really, he had his hands full in his semifinal match against Matt Dragon from Lake Lehman, undefeated wrestler and the Northeastern Regional Champion, only a 10th grader. Matt Dragon, we're going to see a lot more of him. He very much impressed me. Gingrich eked out a win 10-7 to make it into the finals here against Santo.
Talk about how immediately these wrestlers are immediately good. We have 2 out of the first 3 weight classes, or 2 freshmen already state champions here with Garrett Scott. And talk about how many 4-time state champions there have been, but as a freshman coming into a tournament and winning in your first trip here is awfully tough. People used to say, get out there as a freshman to get your feet wet. Not anymore. These guys come to win.
Oh yeah, they come to win. There's no doubt about that.
But here we have 2 seniors, Santo from Penn Argyl in the green, or the black singlet with the green anklet and the green Knights written across the back. Penn Argyl Green Knights. And Gingrich from Delone Catholic in District 3 in the black and gold.
We talked about the freshmen winning state titles. This is the first year since 1940 the 2 freshmen have won state titles. Back in 1940, Jim Conklin from Waynesburg won at 85 pounds, and Steve D'Agostino won at 95 pounds from Grove City.
Gingrich and Santo met in the Southeast Regional Championships last week. Santo or in the semifinals. Santo won that one, and it was a wild one, 14-13. Gingrich came back for 3rd. He's a 2-time Southeast Regional medalist, and Santo won a championship last week. So we had a rematch between Anderson and Kemmerer, with Kemmerer winning that one, the first of 3. And let's see if Gingrich can come back and win the second bout of the year.
Gingrich in the black and tan singlet with the red anklets. Santo in the black and green with the green anklet.
You mentioned earlier that Penn Argyl has had 1 previous state champion. Robert Redmond won the title in 2000, down at 112 pounds. Delone Catholic actually has 2, but it's the same guy going back to 1984, 1983. Tony Kuntz won it at the class they called then Unlimited.
Gingrich working a high half Nelson.
Watch the arm. Watch it.
And you can hear the referee telling him, watch the arm. That means that he's very cautious about this. He's got to be careful. He wants to turn his opponent, but the referee will stop it. Potentially dangerous. The key is he's got to drive his opponent across, not forward up over his head. The referee's sure to stop the match. Potentially dangerous situation if that happens.
Center in.
If Jeff Santo wins from Penn Argyl, His head coach, Vic Stanley, will become the first ever Pennsylvania high school head coach to have coached individual PIAA state champions at 3 different schools.
4 seconds.
Vic Stanley was a head coach at Council Rock, where he coached C.D. Mock to a state title. C.D. Mock also an NCAA champion in North Carolina. He's also the head coach at Neshaminy, where he coached 4-time finalist, 2-time champion Mike Pirzola. And now he's the head coach at Penn Arthur.
Take a look there at Vic Stanley on the left.
Red man takes them both neutral. Colors.
Vic Stanley, also a member of the PIAA Hall of Fame, inducted in 1995. Gingrich, another takedown attempt. You see Santo trying to elevate out of it. In a bit of trouble, but he gets himself out. Santo did a really nice job of elevating out of that.
No, I have one red illegal by application. You can't have the chest. I have blood time, green. The call was he had a quarter Nelson with the chin included by application.
Thanks to everyone involved in today's state finals, and a big thank you as well to the cable companies that carry the Pennsylvania Cable Network, bringing gold medal coverage today of the Class AA championships to millions of Keystone State residents. And you heard the official there, Jim, talk about that. Santo tried to use that quarter Nelson, but he tried to do it by turning his opponent with his chin, and that's where they gave a penalty point to Gingrich there for that 3-0 lead now.
Well, of course, the referee is really concerned about any kind of a neck injury, and when you grab your opponent's chin and try to twist it, they're going to stop that situation.
If you're a high school sports fan, you're going to love the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Later this month, the statewide service televises PIAA finals in swimming, diving, and boys and girls basketball, with the springtime coverage of track and field, volleyball, soccer, softball, and baseball also scheduled. When you're looking for high school championships, turn to PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network.
Gingrich lost in the finals last year, 8-2 to Corey Garris from Wilson High School, District 11.
Don't back up. Don't go to your heel. Take your shot. Your ankle.
Come right back in the center. Let's go, man.
John Hefner, the head coach at the Williams Look out at District 3.
Slow single, watch slow single. Sweet. Get it! 10 seconds. Hold that elbow. Nothing. If you get it, don't give it up.
Time. 33. Choice. Top, bottom, or neutral. Green choice takes new or top position. Set.
And there's an example with Santos. He doesn't want to go underneath Gingrich again because of what Gingrich's ability. Obviously, to turn Santo, he almost did it in the first period. And Santo's ability now to turn from the top. He has been effective in this tournament to do that. And obviously, these guys familiar with each other. They wrestled last week.
Santo, one of the very, very few, just a handful of wrestlers who, given the choice, take the top position. It shows an awful lot of confidence, as you mentioned.
And as we talked about earlier, Santo is trying to use the tilt that we talked about, another variation of it, to turn Gingrich over for near fall points, if possible, to take a lead.
Has Gingrich's arm trapped underneath him, and he's trying to leverage all he can to twist it back around so he can get some back points.
Warning red.
Warning for stalling.
Red man's been warned.
Inactive on the bottom.
You're out, keep that hand!
First warning for stalling does not initiate a point. The second one will give your opponent a point. We haven't seen too many stalling warnings thus far in the championships here this afternoon. And there's the second one, which is a point for Santa.
Let's do something, Red.
Well, we had a state champion from Easton, Mike Rogers.
My time.
He was called for stalling 3 times, gave up 2 penalty points, and ended up losing the match.
I have blood on the green.
Well, he got hit twice in the last about 14
Blood on the
seconds to
green.
tie that one, and that sent Mike Rogers into the consolation bracket, and he'll be wrestling for 3rd today against his rival Scott Heckman from Bangor, both from District 11. And there's a perfect example of what we talked about earlier. Now, Joe McCara came out here and he won a 2nd state championship, but here's Mike Rogers that a lot of people from District 11 and maybe the whole state thought, if you're going to use the word automatic, he was the one. He had looked so crisp, despite an injury in the middle of the season where he was out a little while, had looked extremely crisp. And of course, the state AAA finals coming up at 8 o'clock later tonight live here on PCN. He had looked so good, and yet still.
We have 31 seconds left in the bout.
He's not in the finals.
Nope.
And as you mentioned, he is ranked 1st in the country at his weight by Amateur Wrestling News in high school.
1 red, neutral, escape.
Well, Gingrich gets the escape to take the 4-1 lead. Santo now trying to work what we call a concrete special, and he'll settle for the takedown.
Takedown, 2, 1, red.
And he's going to try it again.
He's forced in the action. He's got himself in trouble.
Well, Gingrich is going to hold on, and with the escape, he's going to win it 5-3 to become the 3rd state champion from DeLone Catholic, and the first one since 1984. Dana Gingrich, the senior.
Okay, here.
And now the medal presentations at 125 pounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, direct your attention to the award stand for the 125-pound medal winners. In 8th place from Everett, Tom Brambley. 7th from North Star, Sal Ascari. 6th place from Juniata, Tyler Gilson. 5th from Slippery Rock, Jeff Becker. 4th place from Notre Dame Green Pond, Jared Cassioli. 3rd place from Wilson area, Tony Curto. 2nd place from Wyalusing, Zach Sheldon. And our 125-pound champion, winner by decision score 3-0, from Borough High School, winning his 2nd state title, Joe McCara.
We move to 135 pounds. There is Mike Parisi, the junior from Notre Dame Green Pond out of District 11. He is 38-2, coached by Dennis Fenton, 83-22 career record. And he was the wrestler that was injured last night, won by default, and he will take on Isaiah Britton, the junior from Royal Sock in District 4, 38-0, coached by Ben Hepburn, 107-6. And we talked about Isaiah Britton a little bit earlier, one of the most exciting wrestlers that we will see in this tournament at both levels, AA or AAA, and it's going to be a big test for Mike Parisi after that injury last night.
Yeah, he's got to be 100% certainly to stand up to Isaiah Britton. Isaiah Britton, as we mentioned earlier, outscored his opponents 49-3 so far in the tournament. He has 2 technical falls in the first period. He has been just absolutely awesome.
Well, Britton is a 2-time state medalist coming into this tournament 7th and 2nd.
Isaiah Britton in the maroon and gray. Parisi in the blue and gold.
Gosh, and green. Set.
Owen Burkell from Reynolds, the Northwestern Regional Champion, was the wrestler that slammed Mike Parisi in the semifinal match. The score was 1-1 at the time of the injury.
Loyal Sock out of District 4, 5 state champions coming into this tournament. Chris Flieger, the last one in 2000. Parisi has done a nice job to stay with Britton up to this point. There he gives up a takedown. Second takedown, 4-1 disadvantage now for Parisi. Notre Dame of Green Pond out of District 11 has 1 state champion.
Isaiah Britton from Loyal Sock got pinned last year in the state championship finals by Ole Valley 2-time state champion Jeremy Walsh at 130 pounds.
Tilt.
Steve Britton going immediately to his tilt. The referee's going to count it. And as soon as he counts the 5th count, Britton lets him up, breaks the hold, gets 3 points, and go right back to it.
We were talking about near fault points too. You saw that you need to hold your opponent's shoulders below that 45-degree angle for at least 5 seconds to get the 3 near fall, and there's the fall. He didn't waste any time this time with a tech fall. Talking about Isaiah Britton gets the fall in the first period.
Well, what can you say about Isaiah Britton?
Ready? Turn around, buddy.
Here's the finish of that bout at 135.
Now the key to this move is to trip his legs, trip Parisi's legs out from underneath him. And there he gets the leverage, he gets perpendicular. Lifting his head, Parisi really doesn't have a chance at this point.
We now move to the medal presentation at 130 pounds.
Need the 130-pound medal winners on the award stand, please.
See some of the fans enjoying the Giant Center.
Our telecast is being broadcast over the big screen that they have above the center mat, which has been very effective this week in helping wrestling fans follow the match by match, and fans get an opportunity to say, hey, I'm up there. But that's been a big help too. Another nice nudity, if you will, of this Giant Center is the fact that it's been very, very helpful to let people know what mat a certain wrestler is on. And of course, fans are enjoying some of these luxury suites. So this has been a fine addition to the Giant Center here in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
On the
Hope you're
award
enjoying our
stand,
coverage up to this point. We'll now go to 130-pound medal
8th place
presentation.
from Brockway, John Gilbert. 7th place from Saucon Valley, Matt Gorkas. 6th place from Wilson area, Ed Labach. 5th place from Lake Lehman, Matt Dragon. 4th place from Bloomsburg, Zach Schnee. 3rd place from Northern Bedford, Brandon Reese. 2nd from Penargil, Jeff Santos. And our 130-pound champion, winner by decision, score 5-3 from DeLone Catholic, Dana Gingerich.
We move now to 140 pounds. There is Steve Ansaravage, the junior from Bloomsburg out of District 4, 38-3. 122-11 career record, and he is taking on junior Scott Rendos from Brockway out of District 9, 41-0 with 99 career wins, looking for win number 100 in the state finals here at 140.
Rendos is in the maroon uniform with the red anklet. Steve Ansaravage from Bloomsburg in the white uniform with the green anklet.
And Ansaravage is a two-time state medalist, 5th and 3rd. Won a Northeast Regional Championship this year.
Neutral there.
No points are awarded. You can hear the referee talking.
Just go neutral. Just go neutral. Shoot it. Let's go center.
Bloomsburg has one state champion. Dan Klingerman won a state title at Bloomsburg back in 1983.
Scott Rendos was a finalist last year, losing to Chad Sychak from Richland out of District 6, 4-3.
Rendos looking to become Brockway's first ever state champion. Brockway out of District 9.
The PIAA championships last year, Bloomsburg also had a finalist, Dan Edwards. At 171 pounds, lost 9-7 in overtime to Kurt Brenner from Freedom, our finalist again at 171 pounds, back to defend his title.
Keep working. One side and the other side. One side. Put on the back.
Rendos in his first period, Jim, does a great job. Gets the takedown, does not give up the escape, does not get hit for stalling, doesn't turn his opponent, but does his job. Nice period for Rendos, starting off, getting that quick takedown and doing his job on top.
He does whatever it takes to take his 2-point lead safely into the second period.
2-0, guys. Green. Control.
Again?
You can see Ansaravage putting a nice tight half Nelson in.
Hold on. Now go to work. Look it up.
Ansaravage also placed 5th at 112 pounds back in the 2001 PIAA championships.
Anceravage's job now with his 2-0 deficit, the top position, is not just to hold Rendos down to give up the escape. He wants to try to turn him, and he's working hard on that half. Now he's going to try to tilt from the standing position that we talked about earlier. He gets the 2 count. He's going to get the 5 count required, and he's going to get the 3 back points, and Anceravage does his job.
If he were to hold his opponent's back exposed to the mat for less than 5, he would get 2 points, 2 near fall points.
And he needs at least a 2-second count to get the 2, and he's going to try it again. Anceravage let Rendos stand. He broke the hold. He went to that half and went back to that tilt again. But you could see he only got the 1 count. He was unable to get near fall points that time. Jim, we talk about wrestlers in the state, how they've improved from the top position. and it has happened statewide. When you get to the next level, talking about the collegiate level, you must be good from that top position. What the state, or even maybe the country, has gone away from has been scoring takedowns. Wrestlers are still very effective on their feet, but we have seen an improvement over the state of the last 5 or 6 seasons of wrestlers in this state being much, much better from the top position because of the fact that they're going to go to that next level. They must be to be good.
And you're right. One of the things that they've become is much more aggressive at trying to get near fall points, and that has really helped a lot.
If you go back even 6 years, Ansaravich trails that first period 2-0. He may have immediately cut his opponent and tried to score takedowns. He feels confident on his feet, tried a couple different moves, went with it half Nelson, then went to the tilt, but was able to do his job, and now he is in control from the bottom position starting in the third period. When I mean in control, he's got the 1-point lead, but his job now, though, is to try to get out under Rendos and see what he can do, if he can turn Ansaravich.
Improve those, both of you.
Rendos was able to ride Ansaravich for well over a minute in the first period, but he wasn't able to turn and wasn't able to come close, and he's going to get hit for stalling.
Rendos is heartbroken because he knows how frustrating it is to try to turn Ansaravich. He's been warned for stalling now.
Injury time, please, Red.
Rendos will take injury time. He'll get the minute and a half.
Running, coach will be over here.
PCN has truly become Pennsylvania's championship network with its exclusive coverage of high school finals and a variety of sports for championship coverage of soccer, field hockey, volleyball, cross-country, football, wrestling, swimming and diving, basketball, track and field, softball, and baseball. Keep your television tuned to PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. If you want to take a look at the PIAA championship schedule, check us out on the web at www.pcntv.com. You wonder there, too, the official, Jim, hitting Rendos with the stalling warning. If it's a way of him saying, listen, if you're not going to be able to do it, you may have to cut him loose in a sense because he's going to bang him again. And he doesn't want to give up the second warning, which would give Ansaravich the point. And we'll see if it changes the complexion of the bout or the strategy for Rendos here in this third period.
To the center, son.
Well, the referee wants an action. Rendos is riding parallel. He wasn't working like Ansaravich was. Ansaravich had half Nelsons on. He was doing a good job of looking for near fall points. He didn't really score any, but it made, he was aggressive from the top position. Rendos is not. You can see Rendos, he's sort of trying to let Ansaravich up. Ansaravich doing a nice job of just kind of crawling away from him.
You got to show me, son.
Now, Rendos gets the caution. As the official lets us know, you have to let the official know on the optional start so he can inform the wrestler.
One of the things to notice in that sequence just a moment ago, when Ansaravich basically crawled to the out-of-bounds line, even though they broke contact, the referee did not award an escape because Ansaravich has to turn and face his opponent to achieve a neutral situation.
Takedown, and Rendos is going to get it, and he's going to tie it. He slipped that throw by Ansaravich to get a takedown. Now it changes. If he can ride him out.
Green!
That was a little fast.
And the crowd didn't like it either. But if Rendos can ride for the rest of this period without getting hit for the second time for stalling, we can go to overtime.
Now, this is a little bit different from the time when he was warned for stalling. You can see he's working a half Nelson. He's trying to achieve some near fall points. He's doing something in the top position.
Come on, he's built.
Trying that power half. We'll go to overtime. We'll wrestle another minute.
Let's go.
First points scored will win, and I say that because we know we have the stalling warnings on both wrestlers.
All points count, stalling points and everything.
Now, Rendos scored the first points in this bout, so if we're going to go to the ride-out, it would be his choice, and a lot of times that changes the mind of a wrestler, although I don't know where he would choose at this point. We've seen Ansaravich be very effective from that top position.
Watch the
So
pitch.
they'll wrestle a minute
Action
on
in,
their
action
feet.
in, action in. Good shot.
Lance Ravage has got to be a little hesitant to dive in
Let's go,
for
Philly.
another takedown.
On your feet.
He got himself in an awful lot of trouble to give up that takedown and late in the third period to tie
Right
the
here.
match.
Come on, push him, push him.
You can hear the Bloomsburg coaching staff. I don't know if you heard a stalling warning, though, in overtime here in the state finals, and we're not going to see one.
We might see debris
Yeah.
on the arena floor if that were to happen.
So we're going to go to the ride out, and it is going to be Rendos's choice.
Fred, talk to me.
He's thinking about it.
Fred takes off.
He's going to... So we go to the tiebreaker.
Now in the 30-second overtime period, the goal of the top man is a little bit different. He technically doesn't have to work for back points in this position.
He just needs to ride. A lot of times they'll stalemate this if it doesn't look like either wrestler's improving, but Ravage is nearing to get out. And there's the stalemate.
Let's go. You're hanging in there.
"11 seconds.
Stay set. Now.
Ravage with a shoulder roll. Looks like it's not going to be enough. And Rendos is going to be our champion.
Rendos
Nice
from
job.
Brockway. The first ever state champion for Brockway out of District 9. He wins it 4-4 tiebreaker, riding his opponent out for 30 seconds. That was a great one there at 140.
Shake hands, fellas.
Rendos is a junior, and he remains perfect at 42-0.
135 pounders on the award stand. 135 pounders on the award stand, please.
Go to the medal presentation now at 135 pounds.